Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial. Tonight we're going to be learning how to do this beautiful tropical flower that I have turned into a granny square. Never mind all the ends here. I'm going to use this started one to finish off my tutorial in a little bit. The inspiration for this flower was actually from a fellow YouTuber here, Hooked by Robin. And I'm going to have the link to her video, the Olivia flower, she calls it, in the description box below. So definitely check out hers. I kept her petal construction of the flower exactly, but I changed up the amount of petals and I changed up the center ring. I had to in order to turn it into a granny square here on the back. So for this tutorial, you are going to need your yarn, whatever weight that is, your hook, your large eye sewing needle, and your scissors. I'm using a number 4 worsted weight yarn and a 5mm or size H crochet hook. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with whatever color your center of the flower is going to be. Let's just see this. So I'm going to do the same colors as this one here. So I'm using, I believe it's Rouge by We Crochet Brava. So we're going to create a slip knot onto the hook there. If your slip knot looks different than mine, don't worry. I think we all do them differently. I'm going to also assume that you know all of your basic stitches. I'm not going to go over how to do things in depth. So if you are brand new to crochet, you might want to check out a few other basic video tutorials on how to do things and then come back and meet up with us later. So slip knot on our hook here. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to slip stitch into the 5th chain from our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Okay, and that's going to create a little ring that we're going to work into. So we're going to chain 2. This chain 2 counts as your first double crochet. Okay, and we're going to work 15 other double crochets into the center of this ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, running out of yarn. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, so let's see here. We should have 16 in total. So we count our chain 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. Now to close up our circle here, our first round, we're going to join to the first double crochet, okay, into the top of this one here, not into our chain 2, 1, 2, but into the first official crochet stitch, the top like that. And we're just going to cut our yarn and fasten off. We're done with that color for now. And then I like to just weave my ends in as I go. So I insert my hook into the back loop, grab the yarn and pull it through. And I just do that 4 or 5 times, okay? And then I flip my circle and into the now front loop, just pull it back and go back the way you came. Okay. I won't cut that off just yet. I'm going to wait until I have worked over it. So let's get my next color. So get the color for your petals ready. And to join your yarn, you're going to push your hook into any of the top of the stitches there. I place the yarn over my hook like so, and I just pull it through, yarn over, and pull through, okay? And I count that as a chain, so that's a chain 1. I've joined and chained 1 all at once. And I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 4 more for a total of 5 chains, okay? So if you join a different way, that's fine. Just make sure that you're chaining 5 in total. And then we're going to work trebles into this stitch right here, to that same stitch, all right? We're going to work 7 trebles, I believe it is. So we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to pull up our loop here, and we're going to work incomplete trebles. So we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, which will leave 2 loops on your hook, okay? So we have to do 6 more of those. We're going to have 8 loops on our hook at the end. So yarn over into that same hole, work another incomplete treble. Oops. You end up with quite a few loops on your hook, so. Okay. So we've got 2, 4, 6. It starts to get pretty tight. Okay, so all of that, 2, 4, 6, 8 loops on our hook. And we're going to yarn over and pull through that first loop up there, okay? And then we're going to work back through here almost like Tunisian crochet. So we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, 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 pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? And then we are going to ignore our chain 5 here. We're going to ignore this spot, and we're going to single crochet into this space. Okay? So we're going to single crochet into here and into the next one, into that next space in between our trebles, and into the next one. So 3 single crochets, and then chain 2, and then into that same space we're going to work another single crochet, okay, and then we're going to single crochet down along in between the spaces. So work 1, 2, and 3, okay, and that creates a cute little tip, the tip of the flower. And we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to slip stitch down into this original space down here, okay? So slip stitch into that original, and I twist my flower around when I do it. It just seems to be easier to pull through the stitch. Okay, so that's secured. It creates this little puckering effect on the petal, which is beautiful. And we're going to pull our stitches back. You can see in here that we have, probably easier to point with my hook, this crushed and hidden stitch. We're going to skip that stitch, and we're going to slip stitch into the next one, okay? And then we're going to do the exact same thing all over again. So we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and working back into that same stitch, we're going to do our 7 incomplete trebles. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we should have 8 loops on our hook. 2, 4, 6, 8. Perfect. Yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, 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 and yarn over, pull through 2. So we're back to the beginning. We're going to ignore our chain 5 space, or chain 5 and that first treble, and we're going to work into the next space, a single crochet, and into the next one, and then into the next one. Okay, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and another single crochet back into that space. And then we're going to work a single crochet into each of these spaces here. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitch into that same space down there. And then I always just twist. Okay, you're going to skip that crushed stitch down here, if you can see it, and slip stitch into your next one. Okay, we're going to go all the way around your center ring, or your round one, and you're going to work 8 petals into the center. Okay, so welcome back. You've completed your 8 petals, so it should look something like this, and you will now need to slip stitch and finish off. So I've come around, I've worked all my 8 petals. I need to do my chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to slip stitch into the base there, just like all the others. And then I'm going to slip stitch into here and just finish that off. Okay, and you can cut your yarn, you're done with that color now. Okay, so that's your completed flower. So you could just use this and sew it onto anything you'd like. You could check out Hooked by Robin's flower. She does a few less petals and a little bit of a different center ring. If you found this one to be a little too busy, but I liked it big and fun and fluffy, so I'm going to keep mine this way. And we're going to now look a little closer at the center of this flower, because now we're going to add on the back portion with the granny square. Okay, so I apologize in advance. This part does get a little bit fiddly. You know what? I'm going to tie in these ends so that we don't sew them in, because they're just going to get in the way when I'm trying to show you guys stuff. So I'll just quickly sew it in, get it out of the way. If this were for anything other than a tutorial, I would have sewn that in a little bit more. Don't worry. But for the purposes of this, just want to get them out of the way here. Okay, now it's nice and clean. So let's take a look at the center of the flower. Right now, when we look at it, you can see all the spaces. So those are the 2 double crochets. So one of those is the chain or the stitch that we worked into, and then the other one is the slip stitch, right? So we skipped a stitch and then we slip stitch into the next one, and that creates this 2 double crochets together, 2 double crochets together, 2 double crochets together. Okay, so I'm calling those posts, the double crochet posts. What we're going to do is we're going to flip our flower around, and using the same color that you did the center in, it has to be the same color, you're going to take your hook and insert it into one of those bigger holes, the gaps, from back, okay, just like that. So on the front it looks like this, on the back it looks like that. Okay, you're going to take a slip knot and just pull it through. Okay, and cinch it down so this tail gets a little fiddly. So cinch that down. And I apologize if you can't really tell what I'm doing here. Okay, so we've now attached it to that post. And if you turn it around, I'll get my needle here. You can see the yarn over top of those posts. So when you go all the way around the circle, you're going to have these little lines. So that's why you want to do it in the same color as your center ring here, because you don't want to be able to see them. So if you joined, you know, a blue or a green or a peach or whatever, you'd be able to see like a line cutting through, and you don't want that. So you want to do it in the same center color, okay? So we've got that attached, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, okay? And we're going to do the same thing into the next 2 posts. So we have, see, I use my lighting here as an advantage. So I'm going to insert my hook over here and pop out over here on the other side. So I'm going to go in and out and just slip stitch. Okay. Oops, lost it. It's going too slow. Do that again. Go in, yarn over, and just slip stitch. And cinch it down so it's nice and tight. You don't want it to be all loose. You don't want it to be loose on this side and gaping, because you'd probably be able to tell. Okay, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do that all the way around for every single one, and you should have 8 at the end. So it creates this little loop, this little hook, chain 3 space, all right? And we need those chain 3 spaces to work our granny square stitches into. So I've got my chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch into the 2 double crochets, okay? Cinch it down. And the flower does get fiddly. Just manipulate it, squish it out of the way. We're gonna block it afterwards. I recommend blocking it because it just helps it lay a little flatter, nicer. Okay, chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch into here. And chain another 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're gonna slip stitch down into there, yarn over, pull it through. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do it on this side too. And if at any point you need to pause the video, do so. Get caught up. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. We're almost at the beginning here. We're gonna slip stitch into there. One, 2, 3. And when you get to the beginning, so this is my tail from the beginning. Let's pull that out of the way. When you get to the beginning, you're going to slip stitch into the first loop. So see that first loop? I don't want to go under and around that post, those 2 posts again. I want to slip stitch into that first chain 3 space that we made, okay? And just pull your stitch down to the end here. Okay, so let's see what we've done. So it'll look a little bulky and puffy, but you've got a loop here, a loop here, a loop here, here, Let's count them, make sure we have 8. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and don't fasten off. We've slip stitched over into our starting position, and now we're just going to chain 2. So now we're going to work our actual granny square right from here. So chain 2, it's going to count as your first double crochet. Yarn over and do a double crochet, do 2 of them. Okay, pull those stitches back so you have space. Chain 2. If you want to chain more in your corners, that's fine too, or if you want to chain less. I know some people chain 1 in their corners, that's fine. I chain 2 in my corners, and we're going to work 3 more double crochets into that loop, or chain 3 space. What are we going to call it? A loop or a chain 3 space? Whatever. Okay, so that's your first corner of your granny square. So push those petals out of the way. Your next loop is right here. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. So yarn over, and you're just going to work 3 double crochets. I don't chain in between my granny square clusters. Don't chain. Okay. Then we're going to create another corner into the next loop, our chain 3 loop here. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Pull them back, chain 2 for the corner, and then 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's your second corner, and you're going to work another side. So into that next loop, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. My yarn's all knotted up over here. Get out of the way. Okay. Then we're going to work another corner into the next loop. So here's my next loop. 1, 2, 3 double crochets. I always pull them back. Chain 2. And then 3 more double crochets. 2 and 3. Okay, we're going to work another side. So 3 double crochets into this chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. And our last corner. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, pull them back, get them in there, and 3 more double crochets. 2, 3. So that was your last corner, and you should see that you have 1 loop left, or 1 chain 3 space. We're going to work our 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Now to join, I don't join into the chain 2. I always join into the top of my first double crochet, and that always makes a really nice seamless non-gapey join. So into the top of your first official double crochet stitch, not the chain 2. Okay, you just slip stitch. Now this is where I cut my yarn. You can continue going if you're making a solid colored granny square. If you're using the tutorial, or if you're using my pattern for the cactus blanket, I just do 1 round in the granny square in this color, and the flower hides the pink. Okay, so whatever color you're doing in that first round, it's going to be hidden. Okay, the next round that you do, the next round of granny square won't be hidden. So choose a color that you want to see. In this case, I'm just going to choose dark green because I'm pretending I'm making a cactus blanket. So you can sew in your ends, or you can leave them till the end. I recommend doing it, but to join my yarn, I'm going to find the corner. Okay, I'm going to find the corner of my granny square. I just place my yarn over the hook and pull through, and I yarn over and pull through, and I count that as a chain. Okay, so that's chain 1 and chain 2, and then I'm going to work a corner into this space. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. And this round is your standard granny square. There's nothing strange or funny about this round at all. Okay, so find your space here and work your, oh, get out of there. Work your 3 double crochets just like you would any other granny square. What is going on? Oh, it's the tail. And then your next space over here. Again, I don't chain between my granny square clusters. For this particular tutorial, I don't. And then we're going to work our corner stitch. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And if you need to get caught up, just pause the video. Resume when you get all caught up. Make your way around the granny square. Work your corner stitches, I should say. So 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. My yarn keeps getting caught on the edge of the table. Okay, and I'm going to finish this color. I'm not going to continue on with this color. I'm going to change my next round. So I'm going to join to my first double crochet, not to my chain 2, okay? Again, that creates a really nice invisible tight seam so you don't have any gaps, gaps, holes, gaping, whatever we want to call it. I think I should get rid of some of these ends. What do you think? Let's quickly do that. So I always work into the top of the stitch and then down through the post. And I always go to the direction of my tail, and I grab my tail and then I weave them in at the same time. So 2 at a time. And I'll just go back and forth a couple times. Where's that piece? There we go. 2 while we're at it. Oh my goodness, I can't get it through. I tend to be a very tight crocheter. Sometimes the struggle is real. There we go. And this guy, where did this guy come from? Hook him through. And let's just tuck it over here. I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about where they are because, oh my goodness, I lost it. Because it's just a tutorial and I'm not keeping this flower for anything. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these squares that I've done for tutorials. I'm going to add up eventually. I'll have to find out something to do with them. Okay, so you can see the back of that looks really great, doesn't it? You've done it. You made a flower granny square. So again, you can leave it nice and puffy like that, or you can pin them all back, push those curled edges behind, go all the way around, and then block it. I'm currently blocking my blanket as we speak. And I've got my 2 flowers. And just kind of, isn't that something? Okay, so you can continue on. What is that piece of paper? You can continue on if you're using these squares for just anything and any old blanket. You can continue on making your granny square rounds however you like. I'm going to show you now the final round that I put on my square, because it is a little bit different because I'm joining it to a blanket that is made up of Sunburst granny squares. They have the treble stitches in the corner and then the double crochets and the half double crochets that go around. So I'm going to do that round to make my blanket look consistent. So for my 3rd round of granny square here, I'm going to take my new color, attach it the same way in any corner. I just throw the yarn over my hook here. And now we're going to work trebles, okay? And if you do have my blanket pattern, then you can just skip this and go to the join as you go video, or if you're doing all of your squares separately and then joining them up after, you can continue watching. So I count this join here as a chain. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And we're gonna work trebles into this corner. So 2 more trebles, okay? So that's your first 3, and then chain 3. I chain 3 in these corners. Yarn over twice and work 3 trebles into the corner. Okay, and then no chaining. We're just going to work straight into the next space. We're going to work 3 double crochets. Oh, my yarn. There we go. 3 double crochets, and then we're going to work 3 half double crochets into the next, okay? 1, 2, 3. And then in this next space, we're going to do 3 double crochets. And then in the corner, 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles. So again, if you're not doing a sunburst granny square blanket, this doesn't matter to you. If you are, I like to keep it consistent. So rather than doing plain granny square stitch all the way around, I do this one, this modified one. Okay, and I would work all the way around. Oh, hang on, finish the stitch here before I start yapping away. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. So I work all the way around both sides, and then you join up here. All right, same thing. 3 double crochets, half doubles, double crochets, trebles. Okay, we're going to work our half doubles. 2, 3, and our 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3, and our trebles. One, two, three. Oops, even I'm forgetting. It's quite a mittful of flour here. That's honestly probably the trickiest part of this granny squares. Fiddling with the flour and getting things out of the way. It can be a little bit fiddly. And it's a lengthy process, not gonna lie. I knew I was gonna have to complete granny square in order to not make this video way too long. So I made one up this afternoon. All right, we're back at the beginning. So we're gonna slip stitch into our top there and cut my yarn. And there you have it. So it's a little wonky because we've done different stitches, but when it's joined to the blanket, it doesn't do this bowing little hourglass shape. When it's on the blanket, it's very square and it matches the rest of the grannies, the Sunburst grannies. So there you have it. There's your tutorial for a beautiful tropical flower granny square. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great night.